was a lot, and I mean a lot, of NASCAR news that came out today. We have Tony Stewart coming back into NASCAR for a race. The Daytona road course is going to be run for a race. Coronavirus, Jimmie Johnson maybe in an Indy car, and Jimmie Johnson again. So let's get into it. The first thing we're going to talk about, this was just minutes ago, Atlanta Motor Speedway announced that Jimmie Johnson will be giving the command for the Atlanta race. He's going to say, drivers, start your engines from the car. The drivers are going to start their engines, and then they're going to go 325 laps around Atlanta Motor Speedway for 500 miles. Now, for the next news, coronavirus. As I'm sure you've heard by now, the coronavirus is going around, and the NASCAR released a statement on it. The statement says, the health and safety of our fans, competitors, employees, and everyone associated with IMSA, ARCA, and NASCAR remains our top priority. We are in regular communication with relevant authorities and will continue to monitor the situation closely. So there you go on the coronavirus. If you were wondering what NASCAR thinks about that, there you go. Now let's move on to the first big thing. NASCAR is going to be running a race at the Daytona road course next year. Speed Weeks is now going to be Speed Week, singular. There's going to be 1 week of Speed Weeks instead of multiple weeks. Like usually it's the Clash the week before they do the Clash, Daytona 500 qualifying, and then the Thursday, Friday duels. The Thursday duels, Friday truck race, Saturday Xfinity, Sunday Cup Series, Daytona 500. But they are going to change that up. But this does mean that I think that this locks up that the Daytona 500 is going to be the first race of the season for the 2021 schedule. The rest of the schedule has not been announced, but I think this all but locks it up in the future for at least next year that the 2021 Daytona 500 will be the season opener. The reason I think they're shortening this is, according to Adam Stern, it's because this is a part of NASCAR's strategy to shorten the nearly 10-month season and shake up the schedule. I think another reason is the Super Bowl is the week before the Daytona 500, and, do you really want to compete with the Super Bowl? No, you don't. There's your answer. But, yeah, that's starting in 2021. The Busch Clash will now be run on Daytona's road course. From Nate Ryan on NBC, he tweeted out, confirmed by Daytona, the Clash will use the same 3.56-mile road course that is used by the Rolex 24 Hours. Daytona 500 camping around road course starts Wednesday, Clash is Tuesday night, and the Daytona 500 and Rolex 24 infield layouts have significant differences. So there you go on that. On to the Speed Week schedule. We look at it, we're going to have Tuesday, we're going to have the Busch Clash on the Daytona road course. Wednesday, we're going to have Daytona 500 qualifying. Thursday, we're going to have the duels. Friday, truck race. Saturday, Xfinity race. Sunday, Cup race. So the only thing that changes there is the Clash and also the qualifying are no longer going to be the Sunday before. They're going to be Tuesday and Wednesday, just for new purposes. But the Daytona road course, that's something new, and I like it. We've been wanting more road courses and more short tracks in NASCAR, and they are listening. We got the Roval a couple years ago at Charlotte. Xfinity Series is running the Roval or the road course at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and now Daytona is going to be running their road course for the NASCAR Clash in 2021, and that's going to be a fun one. I haven't watched a race there, but I have played it in a video game. It's a fun track. It's a unique track, and I think that will be a thrill. That will be an incredible race. Hopefully not a crap fest like this year's Clash, but man, I'm excited for that. Speaking of road courses, we have a former NASCAR champion who's going to be returning to the car. It's going to be Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart is coming back to NASCAR for the Xfinity race. He is going to be competing in the NASCAR Xfinity race July 4th at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. For Stewart Haas Racing, the number has not been determined yet. They don't know if he's going to be 00, 41, 4, whatever numbers they own in the Xfinity Series. 14 even, that's the number he retired in. I don't know if they're going to try to get him that. But Tony Stewart will be back in a Stewart Haas Racing car for the Xfinity Series race at the Indianapolis road course. Man, that's his home track. So I'm not surprised that he's doing that. He's always loved Indy. He's won there a couple times in the Cup Series on the oval portion. But it'll be interesting to see him in that debut of the Indianapolis road course for NASCAR. It'll be a fun race, I'll tell you that. The Xfinity race. First off, Tony Stewart's coming back. Second off, it's the first race ever at that road course. Young guys driving that thing. It'll be interesting. But there's one other guy who lived in Indiana who I really want to see join this race. He has the most wins in the Cup Series at Indianapolis, and you guys know who that is. Jeff Gordon. I want to see Jeff Gordon come back to this. So if miraculously, Jeff Gordon, if you are miraculously somehow watching this, please, for the Indianapolis road course, come back. Just one race, the Indianapolis road course. I would love to see you drive that. Your success at Indianapolis and road courses combined is just too much, and I would love to see you win again. Okay? We love you. The Jeff Gordon fans, we love you. But yeah, that is Tony Stewart coming back. That's a big, big deal. A 3-time Cup Series champion. I don't know when the last time he's raced an Xfinity car. I know he won a couple Xfinity races at Daytona. I want to say 2011, 2012, 2013, somewhere around that time. He won when Kyle Larson crashed. No, that was someone else. But he won around that time, 2011, 2012, 2013. Somewhere in there, he won an Xfinity race or two at Daytona. But his last Cup Series win, his last Cup Series start came in 2016. His last win was at Sonoma, so his last win was on a road course. His next race is going to be in the Xfinity Series on a road course. So obviously a successful road racer, and also successful at Indianapolis, even though they're two completely different tracks. I think that'll be exciting. I think that'll bring some more attention to the Xfinity race. We haven't seen Stewart in about 4 years. He's coming back to a track where the attendance has been struggling in recent years compared to other tracks, prior races. It is a big, big track with a lot of seats to fill, so it's impossible to fill up. But, you know, this is the Xfinity race, so you can't have the highest expectations for that. But if this was like the Cup Series race, I think it would definitely boost that. But for the Xfinity race, I think it's going to bring a lot of eyes in from TV viewers, and even people around the Indianapolis area are going to want to go to that race to see Tony Stewart race one more time. But I think that's going to be an incredible race. I think that's going to be incredible. That's an incredible move by NASCAR, first of all, just to get the Indy road course involved. But it's going to be cool to see Tony Stewart back. But what else? Chase Elliott's Hooters paint scheme for the Truck Series race at Atlanta got released today. It's a nice-looking truck. They tried to go off the similar Cup Series look, the black and orange look you can see here. It's nice. It's pretty neat. That's what I'll say about it. 8 out of 10. I'd say 8 or 9 out of 10, around there. But Chase Elliott's back in the 24. He hasn't been in the 24 since, he might have raced in the Truck Series as number 24 recently, 2018 or something. But he used to drive the 24 in the Cup Series, and then he switched his number to 9. Now he's coming back to the 24 for a bit. Jimmie Johnson might be in an Indy car soon. I'm not playing with you. This isn't one of those joke videos. This is like, seriously, you're going to see this over me. But there was a tweet of Jimmie Johnson. He said, "So much for a roomy interior," and posted a couple of pictures of an Indy car or a F1 car or something. And someone responded and said, "What does this mean?" And Jimmie responded, "It means my friends at Aero McLaren offered to let me jump in a car and test with them next month at Barber Motor Park." So Jimmie Johnson, he's going to be in I believe it's an Indy car. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's IndyCar or F1. It's open wheel. I know that much. But that will be interesting. Jimmie Johnson obviously ending his Cup Series career after this season. 7 championships, 83 wins as of now. That's a big deal for him. He said there's things on his bucket list he wants to achieve, that he wants to do. He wants to run into like the New York City Marathon. He wants to do some mountain bike races. He wants to go back to dirt maybe. He doesn't want to race an Indy car, but he doesn't want to do ovals. Him and his wife have made an agreement. But, you know, he could still do a road course. He could do Sonoma, other road courses they run in IndyCar. I don't know their schedule. But, you know, that would be interesting to see Jimmie in a different car, to see how he does, to see how he tests. But he obviously did that car swap with Fernando Alonso a couple of years ago. Him and Jimmie Johnson and Fernando did a car swap. And, you know, he got in the car. He drove it. So I'm excited for that. But I think that's it. I think I covered it all. That was a lot to cover. I hope I got it all. I hope you guys got it all. That's a lot of big news to come out today. Jimmie potentially in an Indy car. Tony Stewart's returning to NASCAR. The change of the Daytona 500 speed weeks to speed week. The Daytona road course. Wow. That's just a lot of news in one day and a lot to come out. And then the coronavirus. How could I forget to mention the coronavirus? But obviously, that is a serious thing. So wash your hands. Make sure not to go around getting germs and stuff. It's a very serious thing. But also, just a lot of good NASCAR news. Tony Stewart's coming back, Daytona road course. It's going to be a good time. But thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. And obviously, subscribe. Subscribing is a big thing, and you should do that to support the channel.